If you are selling in a hot market, you will receive multiple offers on your house. But what do multiple offers really mean for you as a seller? Well, it means that many people want to buy your home, which can ignite a bidding war. But how do you know if an offer is the best one for you? That's what I'm talking about today. Let's roll. Eva Aguilar here, your realtor in Las Vegas. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Multiple offers on the house are increasingly common in this current market, and this seller's market is expected to continue throughout 2022. A seller who has received multiple offers on their home is in a great position. However, sorting through all those offers and figuring out which one is the best overall can feel overwhelming and confusing for the sellers. Your listing agent will be a big help here. To determine what is the best offer for you, your agent will have a sense of your wants and needs. Are you looking to sell as quickly as possible, or you can afford to wait a little bit to make sure you are getting the best offer? It's usually a priority for sellers to make as much money as they can on the sale of their home, but it's not necessarily the top priority for every seller. Believe it or not, it's not always about price. The listing agent should organize the offers in a way that make it easy for the sellers to see what each one includes so they can weigh the pros and cons of each one. A chart of the offers with a net amount should be presented to the sellers so they can see how much money they are going to walk out. Have in mind that the highest offer is not always the best offer. Terms of contract, buyer qualifications, and the buyer's motivation are equally as important. A good offer is the sum of all the parts of the contract. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 factors to keep in mind during the offer evaluation process with your agent. Number 1, the EMD. Earnest money deposit is a deposit made to the seller that represents a buyer's good faith to buy the home. A standard EMD is the 1 to 3% of the list price. Therefore, the higher the earnest money deposit, the stronger the offer. If a buyer gives to the seller less of what they are asking, the seller might question the buyer's commitment. I recommend to watch my video about the EMD if you want to know more about it. Number 2, the down payment. In most cases, a buyer's down payment amount is related to the home loan they are taking. Generally, a larger down payment signals the buyer's financial means to complete the sale. Number 3, the all-cash offer. In most competitive bidding situations, a cash offer is the king. Why? Because there is no appraisal needed, and that removes unpredictable variables in the transaction. I mean, no drama, right? But an all-cash offer might come with an acceptable contingencies, which will make a buyer with a loan a better deal. Number 4, contingencies. The contingencies are the condition or action that must be met in a specific period of time for a real estate contract to become binding. A contingency clause also gives the parties the right to back up of the contract under specified circumstances that are negotiated between the buyer and the seller. Let's talk about them. Home inspection contingency. An inspection or a due diligence contingency gives the buyers the right to have the home inspected and request repairs within a specific time period. Typically, it's 10 days in Las Vegas. If it turns out that property has defects and the seller elects not to repair or remediate the issues which are raised by the buyer can terminate the contract. The appraisal contingency. This clause protects the buyer by stipulating that the property must appraise for the indicated sales price at minimum, or the contract can be nullified. Typically takes place within 14 to 18 days of the sales contract being signed. In a hot market, appraisal contingencies can be a headache. Mortgage companies are not willing to lend the difference if an appraisal comes in below the purchase price. Unless the buyer is willing to make up the difference out of the pocket, your sale might fall through. That's why it's very important to check how many days of appraisal contingency is stated in the contract. Financing contingency, also called a loan contingency or a mortgage contingency. A financing contingency protects the buyer in the event their lender doesn't approve their mortgage. Buyers generally have between 21 to 25 days to obtain mortgage approval. Number 5, closing time. You probably want to close as soon as possible, or you might need a longer closing period. When you are comparing multiple offers, pick one a time frame that best lines up with your own schedule. Of course, it feels great to be selling a popular home. Multiple offers can be exciting, but just like any other sale, they require careful consideration before you seal the deal. I hope this video was helpful to you. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comment, or you can contact me directly if you prefer. I would love to connect with you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in my next video.